Would you date a guy who's pro? Do I want to go here?
Yes.
Do it.
You do. We've been here long enough.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Would you date? Last question, then we're gonna wrap. Would you date a guy who is pro-life?
Yes.
Well, your boyfriend's conservative, so is he?
So he is
Okay.
very pro-life.
But why? I guess why the hesitation?
Because I guess like before I was super like politically informed, I would say, like before, like years ago, before I even met my boyfriend, like I was super like pro-choice.
Mhm.
Like it's your body, you get to decide whatever you want. But
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know, he kind of opened like a new perspective to me about pro-life and abortion and all of this. So that's why like I hesitated, because I guess I would date a guy who's pro-life or pro-choice. So
Okay.
Yeah.
But so up until you met your current boyfriend, you were pro-choice.
yes.
Okay. And having dated him, he kind of maybe started introducing some more conservative thoughts. And so you changed your view on it.
I wouldn't say like I completely like shifted my view. I'm still kind of like in the air between the two
Okay,
right now.
sure.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
So the answer is yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
If my boyfriend was pro-life, it depends on
Would
how,
you date a guy who's pro-life?
Yeah, it depends on how pro-life he is. If that makes any sense. Like if he's like, no, you know what's, then I would just be like I don't think we can see eye to eye on like cultural differences and like understanding why people do the things they do. So I think it would just be a statement of his values. But if he could understand circumstances surrounding it, then maybe, yeah.
What about you?
I think I agree. I think my immediate choice was to say like no, because
Sure.
I personally am pro-choice. I think that, I know we talked a little about like birth controls and things and how that's kind of been subject to why women are kind of more prone because they feel more protected. I think that it's not something that should be used loosely. I think that it's like these are for serious cases, but it should be available for those cases of like SA or anything that happened like that. And again, like kind of like you said, how it's kind of like situational. Like if they're like, oh, across the board, just like always, I think probably not. But if it's like, if they understand the situations where you could see that that could be useful, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
By the way, is this kind of like dragging the show on to bring this up at the end of the show? I don't know. Is it maybe, yeah.
People seem to be commenting on it, so.
I don't know. I feel like it's a bit, I want to be considerate of everyone's time here before we get into a debate on this.
We are. So, yeah.
Okay.
I would. I think abortion is like a really evil thing, and if a guy is like pro-choice on that, I feel like they would try to push me to have an abortion if I ever got pregnant. That is something I will never ever do.
Man, I should have brought
So-
some more liberal girls on the show. There's like it's a little too stacked. Sorry, I think you're the only. I apologize. I would have
I
tried.
stand my ground.
No, I mean, and it's fine. I just feel like you're maybe one against too many, so I feel like that's perhaps a bit unfair to you. But go ahead.
You said if he was pro-life?
Would you date a guy who's pro-life?
Yeah, as long as he's consistent. Because, like, I feel like there's some people who are, like, pro-life but against the death penalty.
Well, I don't know if those two.
Or pro-death penalty, I mean.
I don't think that those two are necessarily the same thing.
I think that there is, like, a correlation because it's still a human life, so. But I think that I am ultimately also, like, pro-choice, but I'm also, like, calling it for what it is. Like, you are terminating a life, so you are committing, like, you are killing a being.
Sure,
do what you want, but call it what it is so that you don't try to make yourself feel better by being like, oh, no.
And actually I would say that in terms of the thing about the death penalty, I think actually probably a lot of, well, I don't know, it's hard to say. I don't know if they've done studies on this, but I think a lot of people are against the death penalty. And I could definitely see a lot of pro-life people being against the death penalty, chiefly because if innocent people get convicted of crimes, So I think that's one really strong argument against the death
Metro
penalty.
super chatted $100.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Thoughts on Andrew Tate?
We'll get to that, and then we have to do. That's right, the Patrice clip. Then we'll wrap. I'm sorry, guys, that we've gone a little long here, but I think it's been a really good conversation. I think we'll wrap in about 10 minutes, guys. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so death penalty. There's obviously the risk of someone innocent getting convicted. So I think a really strong argument against the death penalty is, hey, in the event of someone who's innocent being convicted of a crime where there's a death penalty potentiality, then, I think that's a good reason. Also, it's actually more expensive. There's more a burden on taxpayers to enact the death penalty on someone because there's like automatic appeals or something, and then it takes years and years, and apparently it's cheaper to just give someone a life sentence. So for those two reasons, I'm kind of against the death penalty. Although I suppose there are scenarios where, it's like undeniable that the person committed the crime, and the crime is so egregious and so heinous that conceivably perhaps death is an appropriate punishment. But I think the fact that innocent people have been put to death and the burden on taxpayers, I think life imprisonment is. Anyways, that's totally not related to dating, but yeah. I don't know. I kind of derailed the conversation there. Did you want to come in on something, or?
I mean, short answer, I'm marrying somebody who's as pro-life as I am. This has been an issue that I learned a bit about growing up, but really didn't encounter until I was studying fetal development in college as part of my pre-med curriculum, and spent months learning about every single tiny thing that happens in the womb, every insane, impossible miracle that has to happen for us to even make it to a point of viability outside the womb, be born, be sitting here today. We could literally spend a PhD course talking about all of that, so I won't. But I just find it so fascinating that this has become such a polarizing subject in a follow the science society, when the science is abundantly clear about the reality that that's a genetically unique human life that's never existed before. It never will exist again. And 96% of biologists across more than 1,000 higher education institutions, most of whom are pro-choice, call themselves pro-choice, all agree that life begins at conception. So that's an interesting study to go research from Princeton University. But I am extremely proud to be pro-life. I believe that abortion is the single greatest genocide that the human race has ever faced, and has stolen 1/3 of our generation in America, which is unbelievably tragic, continues to steal millions of lives every day. And if your man is not pro-life, go find a better one.
Okay.